Okay, so now let's talk about the absolute value function. So f at x, it's a function of absolute value of x. Now note that if you remove these absolute value symbols here, we just get the simple function of y equals x. We know what that looks like. It's a line that goes 45 degrees up. Now, what a lot of students they have to make sure that they understand is the input into this function is all set of all real numbers. Meaning we can plug in -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1 to any one of these numbers. Any number you want, you can put it in. But the result, okay, in this, the result is y is same as x. So if you put in -4, y will also be -4. Not so for the absolute value function. Okay, what it does, if you plug in, for example, -2, what it does is that it just wants, okay, it wants only its magnitude, its size. So what is the actual size of -2? And that size is +2. So if it's negative, it turns it into +2 by multiplying the -2 by -1. Of course, if you plug in 2, what's the size of 2? It's just 2. So it just spits it out the way you've entered it. Okay? So what that means is this. When you plug in 1, the absolute value function will leave it at 1. In fact, any positive numbers it will not touch, which means this part of the graph will not change. However, if you plug in -1, it will not be -1. It will be +1. So this point right here will move up here. If it's -2, it will not be -2. It'll be +2. So this point here will move up here as well. And what it will look like is a V. Okay, so that right there, this graph right here is the absolute value of x. Okay, absolute value of x. So let me just say that again quickly. Okay, so the function of absolute value of x, the graph itself is very simple. You first imagine the y equals x. Okay, but the negative components, the negative parts, when I say negative, I'm not talking about the x value. I'm talking about parts of the graph where y value is negative, which is this portion right here. You reflect them off of the x-axis. So it looks like this instead. Okay, so let's do another example. What if we had the function is x minus 2 absolute value. Okay. Again, let's just draw y equals x minus 2. Y equals x minus 2 looks like this. It has a y-intercept above -2. Like that. And you can see that the function is positive after 2, but before 2, it's all negative. The y value is all negative. So this part of the graph will get erased and get reflected on the x-axis. Okay, so that V shape right there is y equals absolute value of x minus 2.